Hey guys, this is Tanya from Front Yard Homestead Backyard Raised Bed, and I'm back today with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a video all about how to pot up tomatoes. If you don't know what that means, let me tell you. When tomatoes grow to a certain height, you have to take them out of their original container and move them into a larger container so that they have more room to grow. So these tomatoes that I've been growing for several weeks now have gotten big, and it's time to put them into a new container so that they can continue to flourish. If you're interested in learning how to pot up tomatoes, please keep watching. So if you're here, I'm guessing that you have tomato plants that are ready to pot up and maybe you're unsure of how to do it. I definitely was that person. I wasn't sure what I needed to do once my tomatoes got to a certain size, but I had heard people talking about potting up, and I wondered, what does that mean and how does it work? So today I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. When tomatoes first grow from seed, they produce two little leaves called cotyledon leaves. And they're these two little ones right here on the sides. You can see them on all of my tomato plants. They're the little baby leaves that first come up on the plants. And after a while, you'll start to get other leaves coming up from the center, and those are called the true leaves. When tomatoes get about 2 to 4 true leaves and they're about 3 inches tall, that's when they're ready to pot up to a new, larger container. I have some new containers with me today that are all sterilized, cleaned, and ready to go. And I'm going to be potting up my tomatoes into these pots. If you want to watch the video where I first planted these tomatoes, you can check out this video. I'll link it right here, where I talk all about how to start seeds indoors in a small space. And I planted these tomatoes at that point, put them under my couch for about a week until they started to germinate, and then I put them on my grow rack, and they've been growing there happily under the grow lights for quite a few weeks, and now it's time to give them their new home. Another thing that I did, and if you watched that video you know this too, is that I had to sterilize the growing medium when I first started the seeds, and at that time I was using seed starting mix. I poured boiling water over the seed starting mix, then I wrapped that container up in a plastic bag for about 10 minutes and let that soak, let the heat in the bag kill any larvae that might be in the bag. So today I'm potting up my tomatoes into potting mix. So they're not only getting a new size tone, but they're getting a new growing medium. They're not going to be in seed starting mix anymore because obviously these seeds have started, right? They're beautiful plants now. So what I want to do now is put them inside of potting mix so that they can start to grow there. But the potting mix from the store has the same potential issues as the seed starting mix from the store. And that is that you may have little bugs or little soil gnat larvae already in the mix. So what I did yesterday, because I didn't actually want to boil the potting mix since it's actually soil, there's dirt in there, unlike seed starting mix, which doesn't have soil in it. What I wanted to do was just get this hot enough to kill any larvae, but not soak it with water. So instead, I baked my potting mix. And what you can do is if you put about a 4-inch amount in a baking pan, you can bake that at 180 to 200 degrees for half an hour to an hour, or however long it takes to get to 180 degrees, the soil. It took me a bit longer than an hour because I had 2 trays going at the same time. And so in order for this soil to get up to 180 degrees, it took about 2 hours for me. Remember, your standard though is that you want the soil to get to 180 degrees. So I'm going to show you what that soil looks like in the baking pan so you can see that I literally baked this soil in some baking pans. Okay, so here you have my baking pans. I lined them in foil, and then I just put that dirt, I put that potting mix right inside of the trays. So there's nothing fancy here. All I did was protect my baking pans by putting foil inside of them, and then I put the potting mix right there in them. Very straightforward, very easy. I spritzed them with water to moisten them, and then I baked them. Alrighty, y'all. So what I'm gonna do is demonstrate how to pot up. It's actually really straightforward. It's very easy. You need some clippers and potting mix and a new pot. Alrighty guys, so I know that you can't see me, but the easiest way for me to do this was to actually just lower the camera so that you can see my work surface. So I have my plant that is ready to be potted up, and I have my scissors. You should use extra sharp gardening shears These are my gardening scissors that I generally use though, so they are dedicated to the purpose of gardening, and I have cleaned them. But if you have gardening shears, that's the best thing to use. I'm just going to put some soil in this clean pot. I sterilized it already with warm soapy water and with bleach. Washed it, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then let it dry. So I'm just going to put the soil from my potting mix that has been baked into the pot, and I'm going to put in enough so that this tomato plant is buried. Let me take this glove off so I can show you. This tomato plant is buried to about right here, about right there. So I'm going to put a good bit in, probably about this much soil in, so about to here. And I like to test it out by sticking the plant in there and then seeing how high it's standing and how high the soil will go once I fill it. I think I can put about a handful more in. There. So that is about this much soil in the pot. I'd say, was that 3 to 4 inches of soil in this pot? Actually, no, it's about to here on the sides. But I've worked the pot down just a little bit so that there's a little space for the plant. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll just move that out of the way. I'm going to very carefully cut off all of the leaves. And you might be thinking, oh, but it grew those. Those are the life of the plant. You're right, those were the life of the plant. But something cool about tomato plants is that they're gonna grow roots from this stem. So I wanna get these leaves out of the way because I'm basically burying the plant. I'm burying this stem. Take a good look at the stem. Do you see how it's fuzzy? How it's a fuzzy stem? That fuzzy stem is going to produce roots. When you have plants that have fuzzy stems like that, these nice vegetables with fuzzy stems, those plants can produce roots. So you can bury the stem down to the point that you need it, and you know that that's not going to rot the plant or anything like that. So I'm going to take off this additional leaf right here, this one, and then I'm going to plant it. One more. There we go. This is the new baby. I'm going to plant this, and I'm going to plant it right up to the base of that leaf right there, right up to the base of that leaf. So I'm going to be gentle with my plant. I don't want to manhandle this plant. The stem is strong, it's nice and fat, but it's still very delicate. So I'm going to put my fingers around the stem like this so that I'm stabilizing it. I'm going to turn the plant over, and it just fell into my hand. Now very gently, I'm going to remove the cup, and you can see there are already roots there, right? That plant is already growing. So I'm going to gently turn this plant right side up, gently put it in the pot. There it is, standing there in the pot. And now I'm going to fill around the plant with soil. I prefer doing it this way. I don't like to put a hole deep in there and then put the plant in the hole, because I feel like I don't always get it as deep as I would like it to go. And also I'm just afraid often that I'm gonna harm the plant more by doing it that way. So I like this method. And I'm working, as you can see, on a surface that has a lot of paper down. I like to put down, it's like some brown paper bags, or newspaper ahead of time as a work surface. So I'm gonna keep on burying this plant. Ooh, I don't like big chunks like that. I don't mind some of the wood, that's actually necessary. That's good for, you know, just having space in the soil, but I don't want those massive chunks. You can see that I'm going pretty high. This plant is gonna have lots of space to grow. And I'm not squeezing those roots at all, or the stem rather at all. I'm just making sure that the soil is around it. And maybe I'll give it one more handful of soil, gently spread it, very gently. We wanna be gentle, these are delicate. So you can see that this baby is buried right up to that stem. See there? And so this nice big pot, it's so much bigger than the one it was in, and it's gonna have a chance to grow some really great roots to get really strong. I may pot it up one more time from this size, but honestly, last year I just potted up to this size. The plants got robust and really strong, and at that point, I planted them from this size into the ground. Y'all, if you are enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. I love getting thumbs up. And also it helps me out. It helps to promote my work and to get my content moving around YouTube. Also, please subscribe if you are not already subscribed. I love getting new subscribers and I like having new people to share my adventures with. So I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and share what you see on my channel with others. Go ahead and share this video on your other social media and let people know what I'm doing. I'm building a fun community over here, so I would love it if you all would comment, tell me your thoughts, tell me what you do or don't do to get your plants potted up. If this is the first time you're going to be trying it and you've never done it before, let me know that too. If you have other techniques, let me know what you do. So as you can see, it might sound like a complicated process, but it's really not that hard to pot up tomatoes. It's a really easy thing to do. I'm gonna get these other 3 done pretty quickly, and then I'm gonna put them on a lower shelf on my grow rack where they'll be able to get more light consistently. I'm gonna keep that light close. And after they get a little bit taller, I'm going to put a fan on them like I've been doing with these guys. They've gotten a fan on them and those stems are so beautiful and strong. And so that's what I'm gonna do with these when they get a little bit taller, but right now they're just, you know, peeking out of the soil when I first pot them up. I want to remind you to please use soil that is for potted plants. Okay, when you're potting up into from one pot into another pot, you wanna use potting mix. You don't wanna use soil from your garden. At that point, that soil may have pathogens in it and your seedlings aren't going to be strong enough to resist any disease or anything like that that might come from the garden. So you want to have sterile soil. I buy bagged soil from the grocery store and use that for potting up my seedlings. Once I move them outside into the medium that I plan for them to grow in for good, then I reuse the potting mix that I've already had in my large containers. But when I'm first getting these seedlings going, they need the best start. So I definitely buy potting mix for them. If you make potting mix, you can do that. You can use that for sure. I will, when I plant them in my containers, I will even use my compost. And that's a great boost. It's a great boost of energy for them. But at this stage, I'm not doing that. Another thing I want to encourage you to do is remember to label your plants. I just potted up a yellow pear tomato and now I'm potting it up into a new container and all of the containers will look like this. I have 4 different varieties of tomatoes. or 3 different varieties. I have yellow pear, sweet 100s, and Romas. And they look very similar when they're babies, right? They don't look very different. So you need to make sure to label them or else you're not gonna know what you're growing until they start to produce fruit. And I mean, yeah, it's an adventure, but who wants to do that for real? Ask me how I know. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to thumbs up the video and don't forget to comment down below. Also, please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I want to introduce you to Nugget. I think she's the last chicken you haven't seen yet. If you've watched any of my previous how-to talkie videos, you've seen everybody else. But this is Nugget, who we think is the leader of the pack. I don't know. She's scared of everything though. Nugget, you want to say hi? Nugget? Nugget is Chicken Little. She's sure the sky is falling at all times. You want to hold her up so they can see? Oh, look, she's chewing a little.
Nugget,
like
honey.
point her forward.
She insists on keeping her head.
Yeah, Nugget is like terrified of everything. Right now, she's sure she's about to be in a pot. She thinks she's gonna die. And then when we put her down, she thinks she somehow escaped. And then we get her again and she's like, oh, I'm gonna die. Every single time. Every day when we bring her food, it's the whole deal. But she is our faithful egg layer. We're always getting an egg from Nugget. Look, she's so scared. She looks like an old lady. We love Nugget though. She has a glorious comb and fantastic waddles. And so you'll see her every now and then. She talks a lot. She is our leghorn, like foghorn leghorn, except in color instead of black and white. I mean red and white.
Honey.
Oh, there you go.
She made a valiant sound of escape.
She tried.
You tried, honey.
I don't think she's gonna lay down. This is also one of her MOs. She'll just lay down to die. All right, Nugget. We'll see you later, okay? Bye-bye, sweetie. Oh, look at her little face. It's okay, honey bunny. Oh. If you would like to see my video on how to get seeds started, you can check this one out right here. And if you'd like to see a video, our latest video on how to get rid of pests in your garden, oh, they're a pain, check this video out right here. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.